Today we are going to look at the care we should provide to our scalp after undergoing a hair transplant. One of the main concerns when getting a hair transplant is the entire process you have to go through after the procedure, which we'll call the post-operative phase. During this phase, our scalp is sensitive and exposed, so we need to provide it with the proper care. These care routines are necessary because the quality of care will significantly affect the final outcomes of the transplant success. The success of a hair transplant depends to a great extent on the care we receive in the post-operative phase. In fact, if the transplant is not properly cared for, it can fail even if the surgery was successful. Therefore, it's crucial to rigorously follow the care instructions provided by the medical team if you want the procedure to be a successful triumph. We should be aware that there are certain elements in the post-operative phase that we cannot avoid, such as scabs, edema, or other issues that may occur after removing the bandage. Edema will appear in areas like the head or neck, and although this is entirely normal, it's advisable to apply cold to the affected area to reduce swelling. As for the duration of the edema, this varies from patient to patient and their tolerance level, but the more cold you apply, the quicker it will disappear. Besides, we need to be mindful of itching that may occur in the operated area. It's entirely normal to experience itching during the first few weeks, both in the donor and the recipient areas. Therefore, it's recommended to take an anti-inflammatory or soothing medication before going to bed. The itching usually doesn't last more than a week, but if it persists, continue taking the medication and consult your doctor to ensure everything is progressing correctly. Now that we have covered the elements in the post-operative phase that we cannot avoid, I'm going to provide you with some tips on how to best care for your scalp. First, you should avoid consuming products that are harmful to your health, such as alcohol and tobacco. These substances will reduce the effectiveness of medications and decrease blood flow to the scalp. It's best to avoid these products for at least the first week after treatment, but the longer you can avoid them, the better. Another important piece of advice is to refrain from touching the scalp on the same day as the surgery and avoid any friction with other objects or elements. It's recommended to sleep with your head elevated, sitting up and facing upwards to prevent any harmful contact with the bed. Additionally, you should avoid wearing any decorative items like hats or caps, as well as helmets for at least the first month to prevent any manipulation of the head. When washing your head, it's important to do it carefully by gently rubbing the grafted area with a special soap provided by your doctor or clinic. Rinse it thoroughly with lukewarm water, letting the water fall gently on your head without applying pressure, which could damage the grafts. After the first 45 days, scabs will appear, but this is not a problem. In fact, it's an indication that the grafts are progressing correctly. It's important to avoid sports for the first 15 days after the transplant because excessive sweating increases the risk of infection. After the recommended 2 weeks, you can gradually start doing sports, being careful to keep your head as dry as possible. Sun exposure should also be avoided as it can slow down scalp recovery and affect scarring. You can return to your normal routine after the first 15 days, but always exercise caution and gradually increase sports activity and sun exposure until a month has passed since the operation. By following all these procedures, there shouldn't be any problem with the evolution of your transplant. However, if you ever feel that something abnormal is happening with your scalp, don't hesitate to consult a doctor immediately. That's it for today's video. Don't forget that you can support the channel by liking, subscribing, or sharing the video on different social media platforms. In the video description, you will find two important pieces of information. The first is the official blog of mycapel.com, where you can find all the information you need about the hair world. And the second is that if you are currently going through any kind of hair evolution process and want to share it on the channel with the photos, you can do so through the email address provided below in the video description, hola@mycapel.com. In a future video, we can analyze the different cases you have sent us. I will say goodbye here and we will see you in the next video. Greetings and goodbye.